Hello and welcome. A try and fly of something that some of you might remember way back in the times of, was it FS9? Definitely FSX. Long time ago, there was a company called Feelthere, and Wilco Publishing, I think, was where you could buy them. And Feelthere had a number of aircraft of the Embraer range. So they made what you see here, which is the ERJ 145 and also 135. And they also made the E-Jets, I think they called that. So that's the 170 something and 190 something Embraers. And they did that quite a long time ago. And Feelthere was one of those add-on makers that created, for the time, you have to remember, we're talking really many years, for the time they made actually a very interesting and good add-on. The modeling, and also one thing that I always liked about the Feelthere stuff is the FMC. They made a good FMC, they made good displays for the time. I always remember FSX or FS9 didn't always look as crisp and as fantastic as Prepared would do nowadays. So considering the PCs of the day and the graphic cards and what were available, these things were actually quite advanced. And yeah, nowadays, with Prepared coming up with 64-bit, there was no way that you could use the good old Feelthere airplanes anymore. And then, to my surprise, a couple of months ago, was it last year? I can't remember. Suddenly, they came up with Prepared version 4 versions of these aircraft. And because the prices are really reasonable, because at the moment at Feelthere you can get them for 15 euros, I think it is, 15, the package of the 145 and the 135. I thought, well, you can't go that wrong with it. And so let's go back to the nostalgia here of flying a Feelthere aircraft in Prepared version 4 again. So here it is. This is the ERJ-145. And if I quickly switch the view, let's have a quick look around. It's, by the way, it's GSX also. Yeah, there's a profile that works quite nicely. So here you see the, oops. Here you see the ERJ from the front. And we can also have a look at it from above. You can see it's a two-engine aircraft with the engines stuck to the back. Right, and this is what the cockpit looks like. Now, one thing you have to remember is these are rather old modelings, and as far as I understand, I don't think that Feelthere has remodeled everything. What they did is they made this aircraft work in Prepared version 4, which is not automatically the case, because 64 bits and 32-bit, the gauges, the DLLs, and so that wouldn't work. And so they recompiled probably their code, but I don't think that they have changed a lot on the modeling, because that would be a major rework. You can't just make a little bit of touch-up and then everything looks high definition. So you can see the old, let's say, the old 2D in 3D stuff that we used to have in FSX as well. It hasn't really gone away. But yeah, so for example, if you look at this here, this is not a 3D design of the autopilot panel. This is actually a 2D picture, a backdrop here with, yeah, it looks like, here we have 3D knobs, yeah, and here we don't. It's as simple as that. So if you look at it from here, you can really see that it is a, well, partially a flat thing. So the knobs here, they have never coded. The buttons kind of stick out. It's easier to do them anyway. But here we have 2D. So there are the odd things like that in the aircraft. But yeah, still, to be honest, I think it's... oops, I jumped out of the cockpit. I think the modeling is actually pretty okay. This doesn't look really old and shoddy. As an example for making money out of things like that, Wilco has the Airbuses. They used to have Airbuses. And I think it was Eric Marciano who did the avionics. And at the time, it was the best avionics, especially the best Airbus avionics you could get. Yeah, it was surrounded by Wilco shoddiness. I can only say that. The textures were awful even at the time. I never liked them. The night lighting was terrible. And then they made an evolution. They called that an evolution. And what did they do? They used the same shoddy stuff. And they just had an evolution when it comes to the avionics, because Eric Marciano did some rework, and but the airplane and the ugliness of it stayed the same. So I was a little bit afraid that we might see something like that here as well. But I think, no, this really works. It did work before, and it still works in prepared version 4. And I have to say, this is quite okay, right? We're not talking, let's say, Aerosoft Airbus sharpness and all that, but I think it's reasonable. And if you consider the price, it is really cheap, especially if you get it for the reduced price. They can't really complain. So yeah, that's my take on it. Right. Now this is a real try and fly. And for everyone to remember, I keep doing this now because I keep getting comments from time to time. I've not really read all the documentation. I just sit in here and I'm going to try and remember how it was way back, many years, when I was flying these things. And we're going to have a look at it. By the way, because they are such old in brackets aircraft, you still have 2D. Yes, there are still aircraft out there, even in prepared version 4, that come with a 2D panel. Imagine. We haven't seen this in a long time. All the new aircraft that come out in the last couple of years, almost none of them have real panels. They do have the displays as 2D pop-ups, but they do not have like the classic old 2D panel. These guys have put them in. Look, top panel, the FMC, the whole middle console here. Yeah, and then some additional ones. And this here, by the way, used to be an add-on that you had to pay money for. So when you bought the ERJs, and I think something like that exists also for the E-Jet, you actually had to buy, if you wanted, you had to buy the checklists additionally. It was an additional add-on that cost quite a bit of money. It wasn't that cheap, if I remember correctly. And it gives you automated checklists where actually a co-pilot is kind of reading the checklist, and they actually do check that your settings are right. That can be sometimes a little bit funny because, yeah. So what you see here is dark and cold, as a cold and dark. That's a checklist. I'm not quite sure why I need a checklist for the cold and dark. I don't know if that's a checklist to come out of cold and dark or what. Then we have the engine startup, the before takeoff checklist, the before descent checklist, before landing, and the parking. And then we have engine ready to start, flight attendant safety after takeoff. Yeah, I think you have to go through it from left to right, the way it looks. Before takeoff, after takeoff, before descent, approach, after landing, parking if leaving aircraft. Taxi is on the bottom. So it's not the most logical, I think. But yeah, the checklists are actually quite interesting. So it's a nice feature of this aircraft. You get it when you press Shift 6. Shift 6 brings up that. Then you have a also very classic, I haven't seen this in modern aircraft, really the kind of panel selector for the 2D panels. And then you have the Shift 8 and Shift 9 bring you the two main displays. And if you want to know what other displays it might have, you have to go on instrument panel on the vehicle. And here you can see now the pop-ups, also for the ICAS. So you can bring out all the windows and also make them two windows, like not inside the simulator but outside, can drag them out and all that. That existed already before, because in FSX Prepared, unlike X-Plane, that was actually quite normal to do. Yeah, what was flight info? Can't remember. We shall see. Right, so quite an interesting package. Just don't look too close on the let's say the resolution of panels and all that. That might not be the latest craze. But when you look at this here, for example, that looks actually quite nice. Now let's go and bring this aircraft to life. Oh, hang on, I'm still in pause mode. So now we put the battery on, battery 1 on auto, and I'm just turning on both of them. Now the GPU is available, so I click on it, and somehow I have a feeling that the sounds might not come, because we should have heard some chiming. I hope that is still okay. Let me see. Okay. Maybe not. So we've got the external power, the GPU. I'm not sure if it comes automatically, probably does. And let's turn on the nav light. Where was the nav light? Passenger signs. I have a feeling that we don't hear any sounds. I may be wrong, but I had some chiming before. I hope there's not a problem now, because that would be a shame when I start video recording and we get something like that. That's the avionics systems. Okay, emergency lights, we can put them into the arm position. Some of them you have to drag in the good old-fashioned. Exterior lights, so let's see. I think that's enough light. Yeah, aha, I could hear some noise, that's good. So the nav light is on, that's the red beacon. We're going to turn it on when we start something like engines and APU. Right, what else do we need? So that's the fuel. We can leave this for the moment. The pilots have boarded, have they? Ah, that's GSX. Yeah, GSX forgot to put a stair. Are they all boarding? Nah, I think there's a problem here with the profile of GSX. Look, this is the cargo hold, girls. This is not where you go in. And you can see the little feet sticking out under the bottom. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, okay. So that GSX profile isn't quite up to scratch. That's a good one. You can see that we have a minimum power at the moment. I wonder why, actually, because we only have one display on. Now, the fact that we have GPU, we should we not see more? So the avionics bus is, what's all this here? Actual power, this is an auto, backup, avionic, master is on. Right, power plant, ignition, auto on, preset, right, okay. Windshield wipers, the windshield heating is already on. Now, one thing we can maybe see what the dark and cold checklist tells us.
Cold and dark checklist, APU.
Ah, they want us to have the APU on. Let's turn it on. By the way, let's very quickly check the fuel and payload. So we have a full tank. Let's just leave it like that for the moment.
On. Emergency lights, armed, avionics, master. 2 on. FMS.
I forget. Dark cockpit. FMS. Yeah. Oh yeah, look. The Christmas tree has started to come up. Yeah, suppose we need to do now some things. I would say it's probably this one here. Loaded. Flight plan. We fly from EDDM, that's correct. To... Oops. Let's click clear. Clear. To Echo Delta Delta Mike. And we're going to fly via Akini. Now, as I said, I haven't read the documentation. This is really try and fly in a more classic sense, so I'm just winging it here. Okay, so I might be doing things wrong, I might be missing things, and I might not understand everything I see here. Now I'm going on to the departure. We want to depart from runway 08 left, and we want to use Anchor 9 Quebec. I have updated the ARAC recently. Here, Anchor 9 Quebec. And I am going to activate this. Let's have a quick look. Anchor, then Akini, we have a discontinuity. So the other thing that we can, oops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. So how do we get to arrivals? Let's go performance, climb, descent, performance, that's cruise, that's landing, nav, arrival, there we go. Runway, 08 left, via MIQ, and we want the BAMTA 4 alpha in the meantime, new version, and I'm going to activate this. So now this still doesn't know how high we want to go, so go to the performance init page. It's an Embraer 145 X-ray Romeo for extended range, full performance, data source, PT something. Okay, thank you. I think the APU is available, so we might as well where is the... So where was the APU? Somewhere, I think. Gasper fans? No, that's something else. The APU generator for some reason isn't available. Let's quickly check, is the APU actually running? Should that not be here somewhere? APU 100%, yes, the APU is running. I'm a bit confused now whether or not... Because I'm wondering about the APU bleed. There it is. I think in this case light means it's on. Yeah, we can hear it now. So I wonder though what else we should have done on the checklist.
Cold and dark checklist. APU on. Emergency lights, armed, avionics, master. 2 on. FMS.
Oh, well, we're still in the FMS thing. So we need to wait that we have somehow finished the FMS setup. So the climb, excuse me. Yeah. How did that work? Departure and arrival speeds, 200. And next page, approach speed, clean 200. Okay, interesting. go back to performance. Let's go to performance init. That's where we were. Next page is step increment. We're not going to have incremental. Fuel reserve NBAA. Takeoff and landing fuel 175 and 90 kilo. Transition altitude, so 5,000. Oops. Init cruise altitude optimum. It was rather complex, even at its time. So yeah, I remember that it took a moment to understand all this. The fuel gauge, so we have 6 tons on board, it seems. Cargo, I try to remember if the cargo would actually be set. I'm going to leave this out for the moment. So that's that. What's aircraft DB? Single active operation mode single, selected operation mode single. Wow, okay. Progress, flight plan. So yeah, that's the flight plan. Performance in it. I think we've done this. What else can we do? Performance plan, climb, descent. Let's quickly check the descent. BOD. There's only 1 page. Landing. That's 2 pages. Runway 08 left. Echo Delta Delta Mike. It's quite a long runway. That's our temperature, 12 degrees. Next. Yeah, we have hardly no wind. I think it's 084 with 4 knots. The question is, can I actually enter this here? No, I can't. So headwind and crosswind. And next is the flight plan. So we've been in there. Takeoff. Takeoff. Yeah, we were in there, right? Yep. Climb. I'm trying to find the V speeds, if that is available. I'm not sure actually. What's on the second page? Fuel management. Yeah, and I kind of roughly remember that you might be able to do your fuel setting here. But I'm not going to do that today. So performance data. Cruise ceiling altitude. Here we go. I hope that... No. I'm still looking where I should actually enter the altitude. That is the cruise altitude. Cruise average destination. Fuel remaining pre-flight plan updated plan difference. Let's see what takeoff does. We were there already. Wind 084 with 4. Okay. The elevation is 1467. That's out of the database. Headwind 4, crosswind left 0, density altitude 1468. Yeah, I'm also going to check the pressure. I press key B, but it should be 1013. It is, yeah. It's the standard scenario that I have. Right. I'm probably missing something because we haven't yet been able to flight plan list. I think you can load flight plans from there, if I remember correctly. Waypoint list. You can go through also probably custom waypoints. So the departure we have actually selected. Right. Then position sensor, flight plan select, database, arrival, tune. What's tune? Oh yeah, that's the radios. So I don't know, can I put in also radio frequencies? Did that work? Yeah. So you can put in frequencies and they would probably tune this wherever our radios are. There it is. There's the kind of radio panel. They have a specialized radio panel. Very nice. Yeah. So how did that go? Nav 1 is currently in automatic, so I'm expecting it to switch the frequencies when we come for the ILS. Yeah, that's that. I'm still not sure where I should put in the cruise altitude. That's the progress page. We see our first waypoint. And actually what we can also do is, hang on, let's quickly click this away. I need to go into plan mode, that's here. And now I need to, yeah, here's the FMC. We go into flight plan, and then we go through this, the step mode. There's still discontinuities. That's probably the reason also why it doesn't work. Yeah, that's right. Forgot about those. Let's see if I can close these like this. Yep, that works like we are used to. Alright. So, was that enough? Or have we got another one? No. Looks okay. They want us to close the exits. Oops. So, performance in it. Next. Cruise. I can't remember how this is done. Cruise with 300. Okay. Step increments we don't have. Transition altitude we've set. Initial cruise altitude optimum. ISRDF cruise winds. Cruise winds, they're probably the same because I have set standard weather. Put that in here. Ah, here it is. I found it. Okay. Flight level 200. I was probably missing. And I sure hope that eventually so is there anything else we need to do? Performance data. Yeah. Cruise ceiling altitude. Somehow it still isn't in there, but there's nothing I can enter here. So fifth page. Passenger weight, gross weight. Do we have to actually have, because I wouldn't actually know where to get these values. Can you click on it now? No, it wouldn't fill these values in for you. So what I can try is I go to fuel and payload and I look for the gross weight, 24 tons. Gross weight is 24 tons. Nope. 24.0. Nope. No. This is probably the basic operating weight or something like that. So it's the base on which it calculates the rest. So let's see if we can somehow. So passengers are 4.3 tons. 4309, I think it was. No, that was wrong. Cargo. I didn't want to do that. I hit the wrong. So cargo is 663. Okay, and 4309 is passenger weight, gross weight. For some reason I can't enter these. Passengers with 86. Can I see how many passengers I have? Hang on. Not really. Let's see. If I enter 50 passengers here, what happens? It put in the values. Right, confirm.
Initialized. Speed.
That's it. So we're through. I finally found the missing bit. Check altitude constraints. Yeah. No problem. So it's the speeds now. First of all, what we can do is we can find the autopilot altitude knob, which is here. Let's quickly go out of here, and we'll set where's the altitude? Here. Right click, by the way, brings it up in thousands. There is probably a way, if you use the mouse, for example, the mouse wheel, then you can do finer steps, right? The displays are most likely linked, right? Yes, they are linked. So they're not independent, but that's okay. That is actually quite okay. We are currently on VOR. That means we need to try and find the source for. Is this here? Yeah, it's. Some of these knobs are. So what have we got here is that the range doesn't seem to be. That's weather radar. Okay. Off. That's the tilt for the weather radar. So that's this down here. And that's the source. Okay. So FMS. So we've got it now on FMS, the source. That's important because otherwise we wouldn't be able to see this or to follow it. Flight plan. What was the last thing?
Cold and dark checklist. APU on. Emergency lights. Armed. Avionics. Master. 2 on. FMS. Initialized. Speeds.
The speeds. Yes, that was it. The speeds. Where do you set them? Long time ago I knew where to do that. Speed?
Cross-checked.
Cross-checked. I don't think that was what he meant. Okay. Let me see. Can we enter the speed summary? That's the reverse. Ugh. Let's go in there. Revisionary panel, ADC, HIS, that's probably switching between panels and stuff. That's the oxygen mass. This is all dead. There's nothing there. Here you can switch between HPA and inch for the pressure. Then what have we got here? So that's the weather radar. This is regarding the displays. What you want to see. Oh, hang on. These are separate. Look at that. They are separate. Hey, forgot about that. See, here's VOR. Here it is. And yeah, the nav display is also separate. They are not linked. They are separate. I don't think the FMC is separate. No, they're not. But yeah, that's impressive. Let's go to performance. Maybe we'll get the speeds set up. So, by the way, we can go here and we can actually enter. In theory, we could. I'm not sure what it does when you press request, if that would work. But here you could enter the wind, the ambient wind and temperature at the waypoint. Yeah, nice. Let's go back to performance. Performance plan, climb. Performance data. Let's see if we find anything. Destination, fuel remaining. We will have 5 tons or something left, I suppose. Updated plan difference. Fuel reserve. Okay, so what's it at the takeoff? Let's check that. Runway. Alright, next. Density, altitude. But there are no V-speeds. So I need to figure out now how I'm going to set the V-speeds. Where would that be? Yeah, sorry, I'm still a little bit under the weather. This is giving me a hard time already for the whole year. So I keep getting problems with my voice and so on. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Nothing I can do. So where would the V-speeds be? It is a long time ago. Here's, by the way, thrust ratings. So there is, there seem to be, not sure if there is an auto throttle. I kind of not have in. I don't remember that it has an auto throttle. I think I need to manage the power myself, but yeah, we'll find out. So where do you set the speeds? I mean, if push comes to shove, I will just ignore this, but maybe we'll find it. So let's see here. We have system. There's the takeoff. I think this will happen somewhere in here. Let's go to the captain's side. Bring out this display and let's see. So if I go system and then I go takeoff. Takeoff mode, takeoff 1, reference temperature 15, anti-ice off. Okay, let's try ECS. Okay, that's cabin temperatures and so on. Fuel. Alright. Hydraulics. Electrics. So that's kind of interesting displays. Then MFD. We have speeds. Okie dokie. And then we can... Okay, does it put it automatic, or is this... This is a little bit too much of the same, I would say. Let's try that again. So, where... Here? Here? Is that... hang on. I think I need to be here, and then... there we go. Now, I'm not sure what the V-speeds are, so I'm going to take an educated guess. And I put something like that in here. There we go. So we'll put in rotation, do it a little bit higher, let's say 120. And the V2 is, I don't know, 126 or so. As I say, educated guess.
Checked.
And the approach speed is probably around 100 and something. And set. Set. No, set means that there. Okay. Oh, then calculate. Oh, you press that second button and it calculates it for you. Cool. So what is joysticks? Skip, recall, end. That's the is that the step? Yeah, we somehow have hit the step, but I'm not sure what that has to do with joystick. APT nav. So let's see, nav, airports. Here you can activate display stuff, and you can turn on or off data, and what maintenance does I don't know. And range is here you set the range. You need that button. Cool. Right. So in theory we have the speeds. It just seems that that wasn't enough. Maybe I have to do it on both displays. That could be. Let's see. Let's go to what was that? MFD was it? Speeds and calculate return. Yeah. Now the other thing, let's quickly go to the flight plan. It has calculated now the altitudes, so we are, as far as I can tell, I think we are done. I'm not too hung up now on the checklist. Who knows? There might be something else small missing. Why am I keep landing? Hang on. Oh, I think I have a little button thing here. So, right. Let's try the engine startup. So. We're going to call for pushback and departure. And because we want to go to 08 left, we need to bring the nose to the right and the tail to the left. No, I don't want to start the engine beforehand. And then comes GSX, which today has decided to do its job for me, which is great.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Yeah. Me too. By the way, performance-wise, because this is not the strongest PC,
Locking gear.
I'm very conscious of performance. So I have my limited 30 frames, and so far this aircraft hasn't done anything to bring this down. Unlike, for example, the last Carinado airplane that I had in there, where the graphic card was almost maxed out. Here, the graphic card, in the same modes, I haven't really changed anything, runs at about 60% GPU. So it is quite light on the performance. It doesn't overdo it on your graphic card, and it definitely doesn't reduce your frames. That is due to also the, let's say, less high definition design that this aircraft has. I think it asked us to release the parking brake. Yep.
Release parking brakes and push.
And off we go.
Start at will.
And now we have to very, very quickly find out how we do a startup. APU engine 2, fuel 2A, 1A, 1B, off. Whatever that means. Aha, it has disconnected the GPU for us now. So we should be now on the APU. And I'm not sure if I have to turn these on or off. And then we go to here. Or let's start with number 2. And we'll see if the automatic start will commence. Is there anything I need to do here? I don't think I do. I think the startup is in theory automatic. We shall see. It is still spooling up. Ignition is applied. It's still rising. Do I need to do something? Here it is. Fuel is injected. And we have a running engine. And we can hear it out here. There's a lot of pinging here. Engine no takeoff data, blah blah something. Aha. We might still be missing some values. And that is probably some engine values. Anyway, let's continue with starting it up. We should have actually put the red beacon. Then it wants us to do the parking brake. That did it. No. Okay. Yeah, that's this parking brake is set. Yeah. And oh yeah, what's it with the engine? Ignition, fuel, Yeah, and then it goes very quick. I think it should be less quick. So let's quickly see here the trim. I bring it into the green area. And now we see that we get all these switches into the right position.
Unlocking gear.
Turn the windshield heat on.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass bin removed.
Yeah, I think we can deactivate the APU. And not sure what I have to do here. 2A to B, APU engine, engine 1. Don't know if there's any need for changing those, or I would just leave them in their position where they are. This is all automatic. Probably this year we might have to put into automatic. That's the hydraulics. And the rest kind of looks like it could be fine. Engine, no takeoff data. So whatever speeds or so, what it's still missing seems to be that we haven't yet provided the takeoff data. Okay. As you can see, takeoff mode. Maybe I have to find that. So we're in system. And what's checklist, by the way? Checklist doesn't work. TCAS. Aha, we can activate TCAS. We can activate the weather radar display. And here we can switch between map and plane. Cool. Heading, by the way, is here. Yeah. Should actually put heading then on 080. I wonder if you can see actually what the heading is. Well, because I can only see the marker, but I don't see anything else. Right. Okay, so let's return here again. So speeds. Now that's all the speed stuff, and we have calculated it, and that should be it. Then, as I say, I'm not sure what that joystick thing does. Skip, recall, end. Recall, skip, recall something. But what that has to do with joystick, I have no idea. And nav, yeah, that's the display, map range, return. So I don't really see any other. What's that? Takeoff. Probably we need to do something. The question is, no, that's the zoom. Do I need to do something here? Because all this is reference to takeoff temperature. That is probably something I need to do in the FMC. Let's see. Performance. Performance data, performance init. Let's go through this again. Maybe we may be missing something here. Step increment, transition altitude, ISA def. That's the current ISA deviation. No. Init cruise alt. Cruise winds, flight level 200, and that's the weight stuff. And in the performance data, this is the flight level, ceiling. Why is it 250? Cruise, ceiling altitude. It could climb. Cruise is no. But I can't change it here yet. I thought I had put in 200. We'll check that in a moment. No step increments. There's also 4 pages, so here's the performance data for the destination and the alternate ETA, cross fuel. This is more information, I think it is. Takeoff. So, headwind, left, density, altitude, climb. What's the climb? Strange numbers here. I'm not sure what it calculated. Then comes the cruise. Now that is wrong, because I'm pretty sure I entered flight level 250. I can't change it though. Alright, then comes the descent. And then comes the landing. And then comes the flight plan. And the RW position. And that's it. So we are in the nav section, and if at all, then we should have found this here somehow. So I'm not sure. It doesn't seem to be. So it's takeoff 1. I'm not sure what takeoff mode 1 is, and to be honest, it's not clear to me how I'm going to change this ECS, this the cabin temperatures and stuff like that. So yeah. Because that's the MFD, that's the system stuff. You know what? We're just going to continue now. The next one would be the before takeoff checklist. So let's not worry too much. We're going to take some obvious performance values and we'll somehow get it right. Taxi lights on. But it shows you this is actually not that easy on aircraft. So there are some small complexities in it, which yeah, you need to find out. And I'm pretty sure I think there is documentation with it. Why are our engines not coming? Oh, you should actually take this gust lock, or what it's called, off, because otherwise you will have some issues with getting the engine spooling up. Okay, here we go. Auto pressure landing elevation. Let's just see that there. Is that something I can... Yeah, 1400. Not sure what these things do. So this is all dead. It actually taxis pretty straight. I have a feeling you don't hear much of the engines. That could be okay, that could be normal, by the way, for this aircraft. But I don't hear much of the engines.
Welcome aboard. Before we depart, please remove the safety card from the seat pocket in front of you and follow along as we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. We appreciate your complete attention to this important safety information. If you're seated in an exit row, you may be required to assist the crew in an emergency. If you are unable to perform the functions described on the safety card, then
Yeah, that's a
please
nice
advise the
feature here.
seating at the end of this video. To fasten your seatbelt low and tight against your lap, insert the metal fitting into the buckle. Tighten the belt by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift up the buckle flap. When the seatbelt sign is illuminated, immediately be seated and buckle up. To ensure your safety, your seatbelt should be fastened at all times when you are seated. There are 2 exit doors in this aircraft. Each exit is marked with a sign overhead. The main doors open by moving the large handles in the direction of the arrow. Open the overwing exit.
Oh, by the way, there's the heading.
Pulling down on the marsh
If you
handle.
want to know
When you are on the
what
ground,
heading you have
away from the
selected,
airplane, look around and locate the 2 exits nearest your seat. In some cases, your nearest usable exit may be
you can
behind
see
you.
it down there. We're going to put it
In
on
an
080.
evacuation, exit path lights will illuminate to guide you to an exit. Your seat bottom cushion can be used for flotation in a water landing.
And I
To
think I need
use,
to do
pull
a
the
little bit of
cushion from the seat.
reprogramming here of my presets, because yeah, that's definitely not quite what I need.
tubing.
And you hear, by the way, you hear the fuel pumps. There's this really old noise of a fuel pump that's completely unrealistic, but I remember this is actually Feelthere.
Secure your mask before
That's how I
helping others.
remember it, yeah.
Continue using until directed by
Okay,
or destroying lavatory smoke detectors.
right.
Law also requires customers to comply with all lighted signs, placards.
So I'm deleting some button assignments and add another button assignment. Okay. Yeah, now we've got it right. Now it's matching. Oh, and I need to get into the simulator again.
On behalf of your flight crew, thank you for your attention. It is our pleasure to have you aboard, and we hope you enjoy your
Shift
flight.
4, now Shift 3, now Shift 6, Shift 6. So, it is green. Now we do
Before takeoff checklist. Exterior lights.
I don't know which other ones we
On.
need to turn
Transponder.
on. Yeah. The transponder, yes. Hang on. The transponder, by the way, is here. Here you can change the value. And then I think with this knob you can change the mode.
1 TARA. Flight controls. Checked. Radar.
Yeah. The radar. That was. By the way, I put this on takeoff. Thrust rating. Where was the radar? I think it was here somewhere. Weather. Not sure what it's expecting. That's a little bit.
Standby.
Takeoff configuration.
Takeoff configuration. There may be a button here.
Takeoff. Flat.
Yeah, sure. Because we haven't put down any flaps.
Takeoff. Flat.
Checked. End of checklist.
Takeoff. Okay.
Aha. So with minimum 18. Alright. Before takeoff checklist is completed. Yeah, it's a nice feature. I like it. And the displays are really they're really some of the best, you know. Name me some old FSX add-ons where you get displays like this, apart from PMDG, some of them. I was always Feelthere aircraft were always good at that. I still don't hear much of the engines. I wonder if that is in reality. I'm not really flying that often in an ERJ, so can't really tell you. There's a little bit of stutter, just ever so slightly, although the frames are still okay. Now, let's quickly check. So I'm going to activate Nav Mode. So how was that now? So the yaw damper we activate, or is that something we do in the air? Captain side is selected. You can actually switch between captain and first officer. I'm not sure if that does it. Push IAS mode. So I don't think that we have an auto throttle. I don't think so. That's the altitude. So the flight director, we turn that on. And I'm going to go on heading mode initially. and then I'm going to switch to the other. And very quickly, Nav Mode, what was that? No, how do I get back to here? We want map, and yeah. Right. And off we go. So there is a button here. I'm not sure what that is. This could be the go round button. We just try. When I press here, nothing. Thrust rating. Test. So 80 something. Takeoff 1 is 86.7. Seems to have stuck it on 86.7. Yeah. This could be some form of auto throttle actually. And my V speeds may be a little bit on the high side. It could well be that we are a bit too high, so I need to figure out what V speeds we should use, but it's taking off quite comfortably. I'm following the positive rate, gear up. So I now keep
Gear up.
Yeah, gear is already up. Just realized that my trim settings are wrong. The buttons are not correct. Yeah. That'll be okay. And now I'm going nav, and I'm going autopilot on. And now let's see, it's LNAV. And we're going to do vertical speed. Or maybe flight level change. Let's try flight level change. So we're now accelerating. It's pitching for the speed of 240. And I wonder where we need to see. Yeah, we must retract the flaps. I think we can do that already. And flaps up. So we're almost not climbing at all because we're accelerating at the moment. In flight level change, as soon as we reach 240, we should really be pitching up again. Yeah. So we're almost at 5,000. So we should normally now switch to 1013 standard because we are already. And then we do the take.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear up, flaps up, thrust rating.
The thrust rating. Yeah. Is climb.
Climb. Overhead panel checked. Altimeters set. End of checklist.
So are we following the route here? Or are we doing funny things? Because I have a feeling we're doing funny things. There was something weird and wonderful happening. So I'm going direct anchor now, because something is fishy here. Something didn't go quite right. Yeah, it is definitely not following the way it should. Yeah, was too good to be true. Let's see what's wrong. We are in Nav mode, and we should be tracking anchor. Looks like it does. 2.5 nautical miles. I can't see anchor though. Here. Because anchor is over there. And whatever it's doing, it's not actually going towards anchor. So what have we done wrong? Let's see. FMS. Akini, 11.5 miles. Okay. It has gone to the next waypoint, and that is a bit more correct, but I don't think we are flying. No, we are flying. We're not flying the route. This is not working. That's a pity. It started off so well, and now things go a little bit pear-shaped here. That's a pity. So it seems to hold the speed. So I have a feeling that we have an auto throttle on this. It has switched to climb, and it's putting climb power on. So there seems to be some kind of auto throttle available. But the heading is definitely not right. I don't think we are flying anywhere to where we should. See? We're flying here and we should be flying there. So not sure what that noise is. Should be flying heading 022. We are flying 022, but this doesn't make sense. Now we're turning. Okay, at least now it's looking a little bit better. I can't believe that we are 1.8 miles from Akini. That cannot be. There's Akini. It's 20 something miles. It claims we are 1.1 miles from something, and now it's turning again. So I think this is completely gaga. Oh, that's a pity. I had really hoped that no, there's definitely something very, very fishy. Now you see it has switched to Ostis. It seems to think that it is somewhere completely different. Now the only reason why that would be is that possibly something went wrong with the initialization of the FMS, which is not impossible. Position sensors. Does it think we are somewhere else? Let's see. We are on 45, 48, 46, 2. That's the FMS position, and that's the GPS position. The GPS position is the simulator position. So I don't think we are wrong. That's a pity. Yeah, it says 22 miles here, Ostis. But that can't be, because when you see we are here and Ostis is here. This is the 25 miles ring. So there's no way that we are 22 miles from Ostis. It's definitely not correct. So I think I will need to fly this, I don't know, Yeah, that's a pity. Yeah. Another thing I need to find on the forums. I had really hoped for better. Wonder now what that could be. By the way, is the APU? No, the APU is off, yeah, so turn that off. That is a pity. North 4859, so let's check that again. Position sensor. North 4859 and east 1229 something. Yeah. So that's correct. It matches with the position that we have here. So Akini is still 22 miles, or is it just simply not? So that's our altitude alert. So according to this, Ostes is in 11 miles. And you can, I don't know, there's something really fishy here, because when we look here, we have not left. We have not left the airport. That's the problem. See, we are flying away from Ostes again, according to this. So this is completely and utterly... Yeah. That's a real pity. I didn't expect something like that. Yeah, that means I will actually need an external map now and see where the hell we have actually been flying to. So, where are we? Because obviously we are not where we think we are. Oh, look at that. Okay. So, I need to... Yeah, I need to turn. So we're accelerating now to about Mach 0.56 or whatever it says here. To turn a good bit more. Could it be that it has actually... Aha! It has moved us. That is really weird. This is really weird. There is some issue with the display. So according to this, we are now at rolls up. That can't be either. Because it shows us rose up, but we are, in theory, 28 miles from rose up.
High speed.
So there is no auto throttle.
High speed.
I need to bring this back a little bit. And I'm now trying to turn the aircraft, just to show you. We're here now, so I'm trying to turn the aircraft, get onto this here. And there's a strange effect because the sound seems to go away. Yeah. See? Now it has disappeared completely. Or is that me? This could be my speakers. Okay. Yeah. This is a bad connection from my headphones. Right, so we're almost correct now. Now let's see if there's any way of getting sense from this. Doesn't look like it. Flight path angle too steep. Okay, I'm going to go down again towards 150. I'm going to use flight level change. Using the thrust a little bit. Yeah, and you can see this thing isn't moving whatsoever. We need to correct this slightly. So just to show you, we are flying here. I mean, this display shows the same thing. It is kind of stuck to the waypoints, so it has bingo on as a next waypoint, and it is stuck at bingo. What happens if I switch to FMS here? Does it make any difference? Okay, so that's altitude alert. So I'm trying now to fly as parallel as possible to the actual route. Speed is dropping again. Try and keep it in around 280, where it seems to have the so next altitude is 5,000. So I'm bringing it down to 5,000. I'm trying to get to Mike, but we're going to go do a very, very shallow descent. And I have to fly all of that by hand. And then I wonder if the ILS can be intercepted. So I'm going to use vertical speed mode, and then, yeah, question is, vertical speed mode, is there anywhere where I can, so maybe I have to command this? No. So, vertical mode off. But, no, I can't do anything here. Speed. Altitude mode. Okay, let's altitude again. No, flight level change. So, but that is a bit too much, I think. And I don't think we are flying correctly here. I need to turn. And that is too much. That's far too much. How do I get this vertical speed adjusted? And we're a little bit on the fast side. Ah, with the speed. Oh, no, you can't do it like this.
Before descent checklist. FMS, RMU, speed set.
Yeah.
Approach checklist.
Altimeters.
Set.
Pressurization.
Checked APU.
You want the APU on? Alright. Interesting.
On, fasten seatbelts, no smoking. On, end of checklist.
So I'm trying to fly kind of parallel now to the airport. Descending to roughly 5,000, and then I'm going to manually intercept the ILS. Now I wonder if I have to let's see, what is that here? Oh, we got a window for this. No. Okay. Under 9.5. Okay, here's the nav. But that's the other one, it seems. Is that nav 1 or nav 2? This is hard to read. Nav 1, yeah. We need nav 1. 109.5. And we need to bring it in. And then we need to set the course. I need to set the course, and for that I'm going to switch the source to ILS. And then we can set the course to 080. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. That's really a pity. I need to find out what that is. I hope that this is something that can be fixed. Yeah, but I am quite disappointed. Didn't really expect something like that. Pity. So I'm going to turn now. And I'm going to reduce the speed further. So get down a bit. So there it is, we're intercepting. We're still above the glide slope. Now if we're going to make it. Using the speed brake. Yeah, we need to get further down. I'm actually going to turn off
Autopilot.
autopilot off.
Autopilot.
Whoa. What are you doing? Boyo. No. Well, that was unexpected, hefty reaction.
Before landing checklist. Landing gear.
It's not yet out yet, and I can't see the airport at the moment. We are still a bit... Yeah, we're not on the right runway. I'm really trying to get my speed down now. So we're under the glide slope, that is good. That'll help me. We are not yet on the runway.
Down. Flaps.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
Yes, I know.
Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope.
22. Autopilot. Off. End of checklist.
Okay, the flaps are fully out. The view isn't set up correctly. It's not helpful. Need to do that.
Glide slope.
And the trim isn't,
Minimum.
unfortunately,
Minimum.
also not
Glide
correct.
slope.
The button.
200. Glide slope.
Oh, we're a bit slow.
Glide slope.
Getting slow. We're getting slow.
Glide slope. 100.
Oh yeah.
Takeoff. Flat. Takeoff.
Okay.
Trim.
We slammed onto the runway. I got too slow. Yeah, the views are not very well set up for this. I lost sight of my speed, and since I haven't flown this aircraft for a long time, so this didn't go well. Shut up. Yeah. So, no, that was not good. That was not good. Normally, I wouldn't have done a landing like that anyway. I just wanted to get down now, and so that is a pity. But to be honest, in the tradition of Try&Fly,
We have arrived at our destination.
I'm not going to hide this video. I'm going to show you this as it happened to me, because it happened to me like that. Yeah, I didn't expect this to happen,
Thank you for flying.
and
See you again
I think I'm going to publish this video. But obviously, what I will do is I'm going to figure out what might have been wrong here. What maybe there's a new version out that I haven't seen. Maybe there's some patch out. Maybe I have to do some settings in order to get this working again, and hopefully that'll be repairable. If it is, I'm going to make a little addendum a short video where I'm going to tell you whether or not this has worked. If we take away this, unfortunately, quite bit fault and problem, the aircraft is actually quite nice. I quite like it. It is a reasonable system implementation here, so this is actually quite fun to have. Therefore, it would be a real shame if I'm not able to get this fixed. Yeah, would be a shame. We shall see. We'll let you know. But so far, I leave you with this catastrophe of a flight. Until next time. Thanks for watching.